You know, I keep seeing people on social media, especially those who are very, very far left, saying this.
I voted for Biden in 2020. I have never liked him. And when I first heard that he was going to be the Democratic candidate, I said that I wasn't going to vote in 2020, but I felt like it was important, and I felt like he was the lesser of two evils. And I still feel that. But after today, I cannot imagine voting for him in 2024. Because at this point, the lesser of two evils for whom?
Yeah, this whole I'm not going to vote for Biden in 2024 is maybe one of the most selfish and insane strategies I've ever seen in politics. But look, if Donald Trump wins, I want every single person who went on social media and said things like this and encouraged their followers not to vote to do a couple things for me. Go to every single family who lost a child in a mass shooting and tell them, yeah, I didn't vote for Biden, even though he passed the first piece of major gun legislation in over 30 years, and I let Trump win. Go to the little girls, the teenagers in Republican states who were assaulted and had to have their assaulter's baby and tell them, yeah, I didn't vote for Joe Biden, even though he's appointed pro-choice judges every single opportunity he's had, and I let Donald Trump, the guy who overturned Roe v. Wade, win the presidency. Go to coastal towns around the country, especially where people are suffering from climate change, and tell them, yeah, I didn't vote for President Biden, who invested the most in fighting climate change ever. Oh, and finally, go to all of the Muslim Americans who are going to be deported under Donald Trump's new Muslim ban that he's been talking about in the past couple of days and say, yeah, I could have kept you guys here by voting for President Biden, but I didn't. I didn't vote at all, and Donald Trump got into office, and now he's deporting all of you guys. So sorry. So genuinely, for this far-left coalition of people who are like, I'm not going to vote for Biden in 2024, if Trump wins, you will be part of the reason why. You will be part of the reason why, and you'll have to answer to all of the people who were affected by Trump's win and his terrible policy that he's going to implement.
All right, guys, so I'm very well aware that in some of my most recent videos, I have had basically a reoccurring theme in regards to talking about some of the same groups of people. One particular group of people that I like talking about the most are the 20 to 30% of this country that has a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome. It appears on both sides of the aisle, okay? As you have Democrat Biden influencers freaking out. They're freaking out because Biden voters who voted emotionally in 2020, they came out and voted for Biden because, honestly, I can't think of any reasons why they would actually vote for Biden, but they did. They must have hated Trump, right? They must have hated Trump because I can't think of any reasons why you would vote for Biden. They voted for Biden, and now they're saying, look, I'm not voting for Biden anymore, okay? I'm not going to vote for him in 2024 for various reasons, okay? Some people are not voting for him for legitimate reasons like, you know, inflation, the border, crime, etc., okay? The general decline of this country. Others are not voting for Biden because they don't think he's far left enough. They don't like his foreign policy, specifically when it comes to Israel and what's going on with the Palestinians. You know, there's all types of reasons. But regardless, what you see across the board is that there's just not that much excitement to come out and vote for Biden. And I don't think that TDS is going to motivate Democrats to come out and vote like they did in 2020. However, there's another problem that we have to deal with because anytime it looks good for Trump, which right now looks very good for Trump, if you look at the polls, he's dominating in the national polls. Those outlier polls are actually becoming the norm now, right? The swing state polls, Trump is dominating. And because of that, you see the Trump derangement syndrome that comes out from the other side of the aisle, the right side of the aisle. And that's what we have to talk about today as delusional Liz Cheney, who probably is the Republican with the most severe case of Trump derangement syndrome. She went on Face the Nation and some other television shows, Sunday shows, to discuss Trump and how Trump is a threat to democracy. And because he's such a threat, she is not ruling out running for president herself, which would be an absolute nightmare and would make it hard to sleep at night, which is why the sponsor of this video is Beam. So with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, I'm pretty sure that most of us can agree that it can be pretty stressful. And over the long term, this can have negative consequences on your health. This is why having good sleep is important. Good quality sleep has all kinds of health benefits, such as improved mood, healthy heart, regulated blood sugar, a restored immune system, stress relief, better athletic performance. These are all things that I value in my life. And that is why I've been trying this new clinically tested Dream Powder by Beam. Now, I gotta tell you guys, this powder right here, it knocks me out. It puts me to sleep and I stay asleep. And the reason why is because it has an all-star lineup of ingredients. For example, like apigenin, reishi, magnesium, theanine, and melatonin. Now, here's how I take this product. Now, this comes in a powdered form, and the Dream Powder that I have has a cinnamon cocoa flavor that you can use to make a hot cup of cocoa before you go to sleep using just water, hot water, or milk. Now, me personally, I have a cheat code. Okay, I need a lot of protein, so I actually use a protein milk and I mix it together, and then I enjoy it while relaxing before going to sleep. And then next thing I know, I get real drowsy, my eyes get heavy, and I'm out like a light. Okay, I'm out like a light, and I stay out. It's amazing, right? It really is. It has helped me get better quality sleep, which has contributed to better energy, having to take less caffeine, better performance in the gym, better mental clarity. Just makes me an all-around better person, really, when you get better sleep. I'm just saying. So if you want to get better quality sleep with this powerful Dream Powder formula, you can subscribe and save to get 20% off, plus an additional 15% off, and a free frother when you use my discount code BCP or the QR code on the screen at shopbeam/bcp.com. That is 35% off, up to 35% off the original price on your first order. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time, which means that this is risk-free. Again, try this powerful Dream Powder for better sleep at shopbeam.com/BCP.
Kept us safe since 9/11. That is very dangerous, and people like that don't understand the threat we face.
And as you know, it's not just House Republicans, it's not just Donald Trump, it's Fox. It's an entire right-wing ecosystem that is amplifying these lies. And Donald Trump is likely to be the next Republican presidential nominee. And he has a decent shot of being elected the next president. I mean, it could happen. What would a second Donald Trump term look like?
Well, he cannot be the next president because if he is, all of the things that he attempted to do but was stopped from doing by responsible people around him at the Department of Justice, at the White House counsel's office, all of those things he will do. There will be no guardrails, and everyone has been warned. After January 6th, after our investigation, after all of the evidence that we laid out about all of the steps in his multi-part plan to overturn the election, there can be no question that he will unravel the institutions of our democracy. So we are facing a moment in American politics where we have to set aside partisanship, and we have to make sure that people who believe in the Constitution are willing to come together to prevent him from ever again setting foot anywhere near the Oval Office.
But if it came down to it, even though you disagree with Joe Biden on almost every issue under the sun, other than maybe Ukraine and Israel, would you vote for him over Donald Trump?
We're going to see what happens. We're going to see how things unfold. I think Donald Trump is the single most dangerous threat we face. I would imagine that there will be a number of other candidates in the race.
Would you be one of them?
I think I'll tell you what I am definitely going to do. I'm going to spend the next year between now and the election certainly helping to elect serious people, helping to elect sane people to Congress.
Of both parties?
Yes. Because I think that we could well find ourselves in a situation, given what we know the Trump folks are doing in terms of attempting to question the results of the election. We don't want a situation where the election is thrown into the House of Representatives and Donald Trump has any possibility at all of prevailing under those circumstances. So we've got to elect people who believe in the Constitution and who take their responsibilities seriously to Congress. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing that, in addition to other things.
But you're not ruling out a presidential run?
No, I'm not.
Okay. And we'll see you when your book comes out.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
Okay. Congresswoman Liz Cheney, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Coming up next.
Yeah, so I can't wait for Trump to be president again, right? And one of the main reasons why are people like Liz Cheney, who got destroyed in her own primary in her state of Wyoming, but for whatever reason believes that she would be a viable presidential candidate. Or maybe she doesn't, okay? Because, this is a laughing matter if she actually really does believe that she can be president of the United States. It's laughable, right? She should be laughed at for having such delusional thoughts. But it's really, again, not about her becoming president of the United States, because just like Cenk Uygur, she knows that she has a snowball's chance in hell of actually becoming president of the United States. So again, it's not about that. It's really about trying to keep Trump from becoming president of the United States, which in my opinion, it just kind of pisses me off, right? That these people are literally running for president, scamming people simply to stop one man from taking back office because he's a so-called threat to democracy, while at the same time, none of these people can articulate exactly how or why Trump is a threat to democracy. Like, what exactly is Trump going to change, or what is he going to do to destroy our institution of democracy? What is he going to do, right? I haven't heard anything, okay? Because, again, when you look at what happened in 2020, Trump didn't declare martial law and say, hey, I'm not going to leave, okay? When the election was over, when he was told that, look, you can't stay in the White House, you got to leave, guess what he did? He left. There's no reason to believe that he's not going to do that again once he's termed out, okay? If he gets elected, he only can serve for 4 years. He's going to be in his mid-80s. And I will hope at that point that Trump would just want to live the rest of his life with his wife and just chill, right, after becoming president again. I truly do believe, and in fact, I'm certain of this, that Trump is not interested in holding power forever. He simply wants to just do another 4 years, and then he's done, right? He just wants to get back in the White House because he doesn't believe that the 2020 election was done correctly, right? And he wants to get back in the White House, fix this country, and then he's gonna live the rest of his life and chill, right? That's what I believe. So again, I'm trying to figure out exactly what these people are talking about. But with that being said, again, Liz Cheney is delusional if she believes she can become president. However, I don't think she believes she can become president. What this all is about is stopping Trump from becoming president. She's probably going to declare that she's running as an independent, which she's not ruling that out, because it seems like at this point, it seems to be more likely than not that Trump is going to win if the election was held today. And that's going to put more pressure on somebody like Cheney to launch a campaign, an independent campaign, to siphon off votes from Trump, right? Which, I mean, hey, if you look at her primary results, there's reason to believe she's not going to be very successful at that. But, hey, then again, we do have some Republicans in this country that do have a severe amount of Trump derangement syndrome, and they may just vote for somebody like Cheney in protest of Trump. And the reason why I'm low-key kind of afraid of this scenario is because we still have a significant portion of the Republican Party that still adheres to the old neocon George Bush era policy of tax cuts and wars that old school Republicans love so much, okay? And if you don't believe me, again, you can look at the polls that basically show people like Nikki Haley, who is the warmongering queen, okay? She's the queen of the military-industrial complex. Surprisingly, some polls have her polling as high as 10%, right? I think on average, she's around 7 to 8%. She has kind of passed Vivek Ramaswamy, who is anti-war, for third place in the GOP primary, which again it's a sad state of affairs when somebody like Nikki Haley is more popular than Vivek Ramaswamy in the Republican Party. Again, it tells you that, again, we have a small group of Republicans that are just, I don't have any explanation for it. I really don't. She's out here calling for a Department of Offense, right? That's how much of a warmonger she is. And then you also have people like Mitch McConnell, who is backing Biden's $106 billion aid package to basically prepare for World War III. Take a look.
Our military ready for future wars, which are artificial intelligence, cyber, space, and make sure that they have the equipment they need to defend themselves when we're at land, air, or sea. We've got to be smart. We've got to be ready. I'm tired of talking about a Department of Defense. I want a Department of Offense.
Someone asked me on TV on Thursday, who do you want to be speaker? I said, I don't care. Just pick someone. Just pick someone, because Israel needs help. Ukraine needs help. Our southern border needs to be secured. And Taiwan needs to be armed now so we're not catching up later. We need to send a message to the Chinese now that Taiwan will be ready if they come. All those things need to be done. And instead, we're arguing over, who's going to get the big office with the view of the National Mall to make sure their ego is okay. Make a decision. Be done already. That's what we need to do.
And so this is an emergency. It's an emergency that we step up and deal with this axis of evil, China, Russia, Iran, because it's an immediate threat to the United States.
And you've said that you believe there is enough oversight of aid to Ukraine. Why hasn't that persuaded some members of the Republican caucus?
If you look at the Ukraine assistance, let's talk about where the money is really going. A significant portion of it's being spent in the United States in 38 different states, replacing the weapons that we sent to Ukraine with more modern weapons. So we're rebuilding our industrial base.
That's what President Biden's seeking to do.
It's correct. No Americans are getting killed in Ukraine. We're rebuilding our industrial base. The Ukrainians are destroying the army of one of our biggest rivals. I have a hard time finding anything wrong with that. Mm-hmm. I think it's wonderful that they're defending themselves. And also the notion that the Europeans are not doing enough. They've done almost $90 billion. They're housing a bunch of refugees who escaped. Mm-hmm. I think our NATO allies in Europe have done quite a lot.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So I want y'all to understand, right? This is the neocon wing of the Republican Party, right? That is getting at least, 10% of the vote, okay? This is why Liz Cheney scares me, okay? She is a part of the neocon wing. She is the daughter of the chief neocon, the architect of the neocons, Dick Cheney, okay, who basically controlled George Bush, right? George Bush was a puppet of Dick Cheney. George Bush was not smart enough to be president. Dick Cheney was definitely president. But anyways, you have Mitch McConnell. Listen to how this man talks about people losing their lives, right? I don't see anything wrong with spending $106 billion because that's the context of what he was talking about. We need more aid to Ukraine, right? $106 billion to Ukraine and Israel and also Taiwan, right? We need to spend all this money because, listen, it's a cheap way to kill Russians. Just at the expense of Ukrainian lives. But let's not mention that, right? Let's not get too deep into that, right? I don't see anything wrong with it, but we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it, right? And it's just a good way as well, too, for us to, give away our old weapons and to manufacture new weapons, right? Now, who do you think benefits from this, guys? Who benefits from these taxpayer dollars going to manufacture these new weapons? The military-industrial complex, right? The Lockheed Martins of the world, the Raytheons, the Northrop Grummans. Yeah, the military-industrial complex who line the politicians' wallets, they benefit overwhelmingly from this. And just listening to some of these politicians, how they talk about war, it's just so disgusting. They simply view it as a transaction. They don't give a damn about the Ukrainians losing their lives because, again, they'll tell you out of the same side of their mouth, they'll say, oh, well, the Ukrainians are destroying the Russian army, right? They're winning. But then they'll say, well, if we don't keep sending them money, they're on the cusp of losing, right? They're about to lose. Okay, so which one is it? Is Ukraine winning or are they losing, right? Can't figure it out. It just depends on if we need to send them more money, right? That's when the narrative changes, okay, in regards to whether they're winning or losing, okay? When we need to send them more money, they're losing, right? They're about to lose their whole country. After we send them money to justify, you don't understand, they're winning. They're winning. They might take back Crimea. the Donbass, and who knows, they might even take over Moscow. They might get rid of Putin, okay? This is how these people talk, right? But again, the scary part about this, guys, is that, see, what is happening right now, okay, with all the events going on in the world is that we're marching towards World War III. And the neocons and the Democrat Party, the neoliberals, they're all on board with it. And it's sad to say that there are also some conservatives that are on board with it as well, too. Even some people in the base that are cheering, yeah, war with Iran, right? Let's jump into World War III without actually thinking about the consequences of our actions. Instead of taking a step back and say, hey, let's use some diplomacy and some international cooperation in order to solve some of these problems, right? Let's not just jump into World War III. Let's not reverse all the progress we made in the Middle East in regards to peace, okay, making an emotional decision. Let's actually take a step back and think, which is something that these people don't do, because ultimately, at the end of the day, it ain't about stability in the world. It's about creating as much instability as possible, because instability is good for these guys' wallets, right? People like Mitch McConnell and Nikki Haley, their political careers, their financial livelihoods depend on America continuing to be at war forever. And until people understand and realize this, that we're going to have the same thing. The fact that Nikki Haley is getting 10% of the Republican vote in the national polls is scary, right? It really is. Nikki Haley should be nowhere near the top. She should be all the way at the bottom, down there with Chris Christie, right? Mitch McConnell should not be in power. He should be in a nursing home with Joe Biden. The fact that these people keep getting reelected, okay, and they have significant support in this country despite failed policies, okay, proven failed policies, is a problem, right? It really is, okay? And again, this is why we may laugh at somebody like Liz Cheney claiming that she's going to run for president. But again, the reason why she's running is to stop Trump from becoming president. And look, at the end of the day, if she runs, there's reason to believe she may get a significant amount of the Rhino vote because, again, there's a lot of neocons in the party. Okay, I'm just saying, Nikki Haley, she can get 10% of the vote. Nikki Haley and Liz Cheney are basically the same. They are the same individuals. There's nothing different about them. So, again, it's concerning, right? It's extremely concerning with some of these people. And, it's hard to sleep at night with kind of, what's going on in the world and the possibility of World War III. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.